Okay guys, so hi. Oh, you can see my pajama pants. So I'm doing this book haul because I'm trying to read more and I'm trying to get out of a reading rut that has been ongoing for a while since law school. And I just saw a TikTok about this where this girl was saying that the two things that law school ruined for her was legal TV shows and reading, and I agree with both. And in this context for reading, because you know, we read so much that when we are not doing schoolwork, it's like I'm not gonna use my brain to do more reading, even if it's for leisure, even if it's something I really did enjoy before. Your brain just can't do it. But yeah, I think it's a me problem as well. I could have if I wanted to, but at that point in time I didn't. So I'm starting to read now, and I did some research on how to get out of a book rut, because I had tried like over the years, you know, like I realized I stopped reading and I wanted to read more. I did try, but I could never like finish one, you know. I'd read like halfway and like forget about it. How you like watch a show halfway, right? But I didn't want that, because I used to be able to like read a lot, and I wanted to get back to that because I just think like that's a lot more useful for my brain to be more introspective and analytical. And I just felt that I was too dependent on receiving my entertainment and my content from multimedia, from Netflix, from YouTube, you know, and they weren't exactly value adding in my life. Like, I don't know how the 10 videos that I watch before I sleep would help me in life. So I figured I wanted to start reading again, because at least that, you know, trains your imagination, it trains your creative thinking, your analytical thinking. So the first thing that an article I read said about getting back into reading was using a book that's not so complicated and not so long. And I didn't really follow that rule. I got kind of a thick book to be my first book back, and to also get all the books that are on your to read list in your reach, so that you are excited about moving on and like not wasting time on that one book. You know, you want to finish it so you can get to the other book. This book haul, they are books recommended by book YouTubers, by reviews I've read, book talk. No, only one book is from Book Talk. Okay, so the Book Talk book is the book that I'm reading right now, and it is Lore. So the article that I read said that you should read like maybe a YA book, because those are very like excitement heavy and it will keep you wanting more until you finish it. And I think that is true. When I read the reviews for this book before I bought it, it said that the world building for this book was really good, and even the premise, it is set in modern day, but based on Greek mythology. So I like Greek mythology, I like Roman mythology as well, and it's set in New York City. So you tell me New York City, you tell me Greek mythology, girl, I'm there. But it is like 600, like almost 600 pages, and I am at the 275 page mark. So not bad. So that article also said to have to get through the first 2 chapters of any book before you decide whether you like it or not. And I think that is true, because a lot of like books I tried to read over the years, it's like after the first chapter I'm not enthralled, I'm just like forget it. And I think that is also because of like how quick the content we consume nowadays is. Like TikToks aren't even 1 minute, YouTube videos are getting shorter and shorter. So obviously when we read one chapter we're like, this isn't interesting, we just like think the whole book isn't interesting, when that's not true. Some books are slow burners, right? So this one wasn't. This one was pretty interesting right from the start. Yeah, I guess it is young adult, but there's no shame in that, because it's still a genre and it's really interesting. So yeah, I will let you guys know if the ending lives up to it. But I can't, but it's true, because now that I have all the rest of the books, I cannot wait to finish this. So the next book that I'm really excited to read is The White Book by Han Kang. It's a Korean author, and this was translated, and this was shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize. It says it right there, and it's a book of poetry, but not exactly. There are some prose on it. It's like stream of consciousness in some ways also, and basically about the color white, and you know, everything in it revolves around the color white, but in different contexts. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm explaining that right, but this is not the author's most famous book. The author's most famous book is actually this novel called The Vegetarian, and when I was reading reviews about it, they did say like, oh, you should read The Vegetarian first, and it's even at the back of this book. But I did read what it was about, like the synopsis and reviews on it, and I just felt like it wasn't a book I would enjoy because it was very bizarre. Like, not it is grounded in reality, but it's just maybe like not the reality I'm used to. But I've read good things about The White Book as well. Maybe I'll just pick a random one, and like, I haven't read it, but we'll see an example. So this one is called White Butterfly. On page 129, I just randomly flipped to it. Were it not the case that life stretches out in a straight line, she might not at some point become aware of having rounded a bend, bringing perhaps the realization that nothing of that past could now be glimpsed, were she to cast a quick glance over her shoulder. This road might be covered not with snow or frost, but with the soft tenacity of pale green spring grasses. A white butterfly stuttering forward might snatch at her gaze, tug her a few paces further in the wake of those wing beats, like a soul's fretful palpitations. She might become aware only then of the surrounding trees, their slow reanimation as though in thrall to something, giving off a strange and stifling scent, flaring up into a still more lush proliferation into thin air towards the light. Wow. And that was like a random one, so I can't wait to get to this. I also have ordered but have not received another book of poetry called Bluets. Basically, that is very highly rated as well. And it's also a book of poetry that revolves around the color. So this one is called The White Book, that one is called Bluet. So it's around color blue, and I'm very, very excited about it. And the other book that I am waiting for is called If I Had Your Face by Frances Cha, and it revolves around 4 Korean women and the challenges and struggles that they face. So on that same note, this is another book that I was highly raved about. I follow 2 or 3 book YouTubers, and all of them recommended Kim Ji-young by 1982. So this is by Cho Nam-ju, translated by Jamie Chang, and it basically follows this woman Kim Ji-young and all the misogyny and sexism that she faces in her life, that, you know, sometimes as women we might be like, that's normal because it's what we face every day, so we don't really think of it as anything new. But she puts it in an interesting way, and there are stats as well in everything that she writes. But next book is a book that I got a bit earlier. It's called Ghosts by Dolly Alderton, and the reason why I got it was because all the reviews on the book, because I bought this physically, like when I was in a store, and everyone on the book, I mean, of course everyone on the book is gonna say nice things, but all of the nice things were specifically how funny it was. And this was one of the books that I said I didn't really give it a chance. I like read maybe 5 pages. I don't think I made it to part 1. I think I was still at the epilogue, and I was like, oh, but it's like the epilogue, it's not supposed to be that interesting, right? It's not, it would be part of the main book. But I didn't give it a chance. But at that time also, I wasn't serious about getting out of this rut. I hope that this time will be better. Basically, it's just a not coming of age, because it's about her being 32, and I felt like I would relate to it just being near that age, not 32 but in my mid-20s, and you know, something that a young person is going through, something that's cleverly written, that's funny, that's witty, which is what all the reviews said. So I will give this another try. The other book that I'll be giving another try is The Book of Two Ways by Jodi Picoult. I got this book because I have no shame about it. I am a Jodi Picoult fan. Her books and John Grisham books were probably the books that I read the most as like a teenager before I went to law school, because John Grisham is very like legal heavy. Hers are very much human stories but interspersed with legal issues, because it like had the right amount of like legal stuff that I wasn't turned off by it, and the right amount of heart is what I was trying to say. I did read the first 3 chapters maybe, Yeah. But I didn't give it a chance because I lost it. I was enjoying it, I think, and then I couldn't find it, and then today I found it. So I'll get back to it after I'm done with law. But basically, she almost dies in a plane crash, and the airline says we will give you a ticket to any place you want to be. And at that time, like, she thinks her life is fine, but she doesn't know why she chooses to go back to this specific place because of a specific thing and person in her life. And you know, I think that's a very interesting premise. And her books, I don't think ever disappoint. I don't know if she's like a basic author to like. I'm not that much into like publishing and authors and who is cool to like and who is not. And but it's like music where everyone's got their own taste, and I think she's a great writer. She balances human emotions and the human experience really well. Next book I want to read is a classic. It's still in the packaging because of how pretty it is, but this was a gift from my friend Itie for my birthday last year, and it is Persuasion, and it is a matching version to this Pride and Prejudice that I have, that I got for my birthday 2 years ago from another family friend. And basically it's very, very beautiful. Like, I wanted to read I've read Pride and Prejudice maybe 7 times already, but I wanted to read this because it was obviously in this gorgeous cover, but it's just too pretty that I felt so scared opening. And I am rough with my books. Like, if you see how Loy looks like right now, like, ma'am, where did I go the jungle with this? Unacceptable. So I was so scared to carry this anywhere to read. But it's Pride and Prejudice, and I've read it a million times. Like, just having this is amazing enough. And it has a serial number because there's only a limited number in the whole world. Where is it? Right, so it's book, my Pride and Prejudice copy is book 5618 of 10,000 copies in the world. So I got this, and then my friend Itie last year for my birthday got me Persuasion, which is another Jane Austen novel which I've never read. This is copy number 4805 of 10,000. It's so beautiful, guys. I can't wait to read it. The thing about classics is sometimes I feel like the way it's published is not conducive to the reader, because the words will just be so tiny, and like the way that okay, I don't know if Jane Austen is okay, she's a classic, right? But the way that writers back then wrote, you already need like extra attentiveness to figure out what they're saying, because it's obviously not in the same English that we use today. And the way that some classics publish it, it's really like impossible to follow and to read and to stay interested. But these books are, so the words are kind of like far apart, they're easy to read, they're easy to follow. So I am excited to read Persuasion and then read Pride and Prejudice again. Next one, it's called Less, and this was recommended by a book YouTuber I follow. Her name is UnCarly. Her name is Carly, but her YouTube channel is UnCarly, and she said that this was one of the funniest books that she read, and she actually laughed out loud reading it. And if you know me, I am a comedy hoe, like SNL stand-up comedians. Like, I take that ish seriously. Sitcom writing, comedy writing, sketch writing. That's why even for books I try to look out for things that are funny, and she said she laughed out loud at this, so I hope that I do too. Basically, it's about an author, right? He's a failed novelist, and he gets invited to his ex-boyfriend's wedding, and he like is trying to get away from it, so he like just accepts invitations to like all the like not that good literary events all over the world. So it follows his journey, and apparently it's really funny, and I can't wait to read it. Next is Unsettled Ground. When I was ordering the other books that I had researched and read about, this was on the bestseller list of the website, Unsettled Ground, and then I googled it and I read some of the reviews, and they said it was like amazing, and I was like, yeah girl. And look at the cover. I mean, I am like a cover hoe, as you can see. Like, tell me you wouldn't have picked this up. Tell me you wouldn't have picked this up. So yeah, a lot of books are cover cover driven, but I mean also if I'm interested in the plot. So yeah, because it was on that bestseller list on the website, because I googled all the reviews and everyone had only good things to say about it. And sudden death, that's my ish. Next is another book of poetry. I can't wait to read this. It is called A River Dies of Thirst, and it is by Mahmoud Darwish, and he's a Palestinian poet. Just like the White Book, I'm gonna pick a random poem which I flipped to page 65, called Summer and Winter. There is nothing new. The seasons here are two, a summer as long as a faraway minaret, and a winter like a nun humbly praying. As for spring, it cannot stop except to say greetings to you on Ascension Day. While autumn is merely a place of seclusion in which to contemplate how much of our life we have lost on the return journey, where did we leave our life behind? I asked the butterfly circling around in the light, and it burnt up in its tears. That was so beautiful, and it had mention of a butterfly as well, which the poem that I turned to in the White Book had as well. So that was not planned. A very nice coincidence. Oh my god, that was beautiful. Was translated from Arabic by Catherine Cobham. Yeah, I think another reason why I wanted to get back into reading is to get back into writing as well. I haven't written in so long as well. Written, you know, for pleasure, like writing legal memos and legal research papers that I do way too much. So I wanted to get back into like not literary writing. I don't think I'm good enough to call myself a literary writer or a poet or anything, but just writing for pleasure. And hopefully these books inspire me to do that. The next book is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. This one was recommended by another book YouTuber I follow named Jack, and I forgot his full name, but his second channel where he talks more about books is called Jack in the Box, and he said that this had such a good plot. He said that the twist was really good. The twist was unexpected and it really blew him away, and it says here it's named Best Book of the Year by NPR, Time, Wall Street Journal, and the Boston Globe. So excited. I don't really, oh wow, like the first page alone is just all the good things that other publications have said about it. Like, and then the next page is still praise for it. Like, okay, we get it, you're a highly rated book. Next book is The Song of Achilles. This was also recommended by Jack. He said that this was so beautiful that it made him cry, made a grown man cry, y'all. And Achilles, obviously Roman mythology, and wait a minute, the best of all Greek. It says Achilles the best of all Greeks. Is Achilles Greek? But I always think he was Roman. Oh my god, and I call myself a fan of Greek mythology. Girl, anyway, Jack said that this was such a good book. It was so beautifully written, and that he cried. I don't cry at books, I don't cry at movies or shows. So if this does make me cry, it means it lives up to its hype. The next book is We Are All Completely Besides Ourselves. Now, I read mixed reviews about this. Some people really liked it, some people didn't. But she apparently wrote the Jane Austen book club, which I didn't read. But if someone wrote a book about Jane Austen books, like, that person must have got it right. So Jack said that this was a book he really enjoyed as well. And it has a praise from Khaled Hosseini, whose books I love. He hasn't written anything recently that I know of. The last book that I read of his, Thousand Splendid Suns, still etched in my mind, as it is with everyone, because I think that was like a worldwide phenomenon, that book. Basically, he loved this book. Yeah, okay, he didn't love it, but he had a good thing to say about it. So, you know, and it's a New York Times bestseller and a Penn Faulkner winner award for fiction, so must be good. I like how it's not even a review video. I'm not reviewing books, I'm just saying like I have these and I'm gonna read them, hopefully. But having made this video, I think it's gonna force me to read it, right? Because if not, Anyway, so this next book is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. This was also recommended by so many people, not just Jack. He says that the cover does not do it, like the cover makes it seem like it's kind of like a romantic kind of book, right? But it's not. He said that the twist is really good, the writing is really good, it gets you so hooked and enthralled, and that's what the reviews I read said about it as well. Like, it's not what it seems on the cover. I mean, when I saw the cover as well, I'm just like, okay, what is this about? Like, it's about a woman who has 7 husbands, is that it? But apparently it's not what it seems, and that it's really, really good. So I can't wait. And when people tell me that there's a twist in the book, and that twist is really good and unexpected, I'm like, I'm there. Finally, it is Normal People by Sally Rooney. Now, this was recommended by both Jack and Carly. Carly loves Sally Rooney, and this is apparently Sally Rooney's most famous book, Normal People, and I can see why. This is just all the awards it had won and was shortlisted for. So
longlisted for the Man Booker Prize, winner of the British Book Award, winner of the Costa Book Award, winner of the N-Post Irish Novel of the Year, shortlisted for Kerry Group Irish Novel of the Year, shortlisted for International W Literary Award, longlisted for the Rathbones Folio Prize, longlisted for the Dylan Thomas Prize, and longlisted for the Women's Prize for fiction. So,
oh my god, it's made into a series. It's a Hulu original series, guys. I've never heard of it. And it's another book where the first page is just all the praise and good things people have said about it. So yes, once I am done with Lore and a couple other books, I might do a book review. Yeah, so it's really so bad. Like, what is this stain? Where have I brought this book that it has ended up like this? But yeah, okay, that's all.